Nashville is an interesting city where the average rusty guy is the guy that could actually produce hit albums. And so I'm just a guy that tinkers around. Yeah, there we go. Welcome to Nashville, Tennessee. There's something about this city, something beyond brick and mortar, beyond the hum of guitars and the glow of neon lights. The city has a soul, a melody, a cadence. In some ways, the city is a living song. After all, it is Music City. And so it sings with a kind of longing, the way all great songs do, from the echoes of voices at the Ryman to the strumming of guitars on Broadway. Each verse is a part of a great hymn. People come here seeking something: fame, fun, belonging, rest, or maybe just the dream of becoming something new. You know, the pretense that kind of gets broken down when we're kind of all washing ashore. We're coming to Nashville, we're trying to figure it out, trying to make it work. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm attracted to the idea of like the beauty and the ordinary. And I like to think of every person that I come across like that. You know, there's a story behind every person. You know, whether I'm like down on Broadway taking street photos or, you know, taking pictures of random objects. What I'm really trying to say is if you stop and slow down, there's actually so much more to the story. Nashville has people who are creatives. Nashville has people who are incredibly smart, but it's kind of like a big city with a small town feel. The culture of Nashville, of being the kind of place where you could connect with people, is pretty awesome. And you know, me as a creative guy, I love the fact that I'm in a city that respects the creative arts. It's a cool place visually to see, but also it's an exciting place in terms of what's happening. So there are always like events and things happening that you can take photos of. There's really never a dull moment visually. One of my favorite lenses to take on Broadway with me, especially during golden hour, is the Tamron 70 through 180. It's a f2.8. It's actually my favorite Tamron lens. It's just beautiful. And my camera of choice has been for years Sony cameras, specifically the A7R IV. I started off with the A7 II. I've shot the R5, but I'm sticking with the 4. I love it. 61 megapixels. It is just a photography beast. You know, I love the Sony ecosystem. I love the functionality. I love the feel. And yeah, so this is usually the pairing that I'm running with. Either this or I'll run my Voigtlander 35 1.2, which is just an absolute beauty. That is so good. That is so good. It's just got character, it's got a feel, it's got a vibe. What it can do for portraits, night street photography. The Ricoh GR3 line is super dope. You want something that fits in your pocket, but you don't want to feel like you are taking photos that have less quality than, you know, what you would normally take in your regular camera. Great way to go like kind of low key. Here in Nashville, people know I have a camera and people don't really mind, but there are some environments that if you shoot in and you just, you know, have a large camera, it's going to create more of a stir. So we are on 12th Avenue South. This is just a really iconic area of the city. It's real slow pace. It's a lot of mom and pop shops, donut shops, boutique shops. It's got a lot of community kind of events as well. And yeah, just an overall good vibe. Lots of like wall murals and little spots where you can take your photo. So yeah, let's take a look through 12th Avenue South. Yeah, that's texture, man. Bands, groups, stickers everywhere. I've actually learned about different events and venues through a lot of these stickers here. This is like a taste of East Nashville. It gives you a little bit of that flavor. The best donut a person could put inside of their mouth. Maybe you think of like beer guzzling down in a honky tonk, but Nashville actually has a thriving tasting community. So whether it's like beer or coffee, there are just a lot of people here that care about fine ingredients, single origin, the process of making coffee, unique beers. So people actually have trained palates for things that are interesting, flavorful. What's your name?
I'm John.
Tony.
Tony, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you, man. Let's do a poem about the city of Nashville from the perspective of someone who loves the city.
Yeah.
All right, so this says, Nashville by J.M. Southern soul that flows under Broadway lights, where there is music every day and dancing every night. And that is true. That is a fact, my friend. Nashville is a bunch of like patchwork of a lot of things past that are kind of brought together. It's wet cement because so many people are moving here from so many different places. You know, they're bringing with them bits and pieces of their own history, which in a sense is kind of like what every city does. I just think we're on such a growth trajectory now that nobody can come to one consensus as to what Nashville is. We're almost in like kind of like the adolescence phase. We're big enough to kind of make some moves, but we haven't yet established ourselves entirely. So this is gonna get you the sound, the aesthetic, the feel, the vibe of like real old school classic Nashville. I'm just looking for authentic stories of what happens on Broadway. There are things that happen that I approve of, things that happen that I disapprove of, but I'm here just to tell the story, to capture the moment, and to give people a view inside of what's going on in Nashville. A lot of people are here and they're looking for a certain kind of friendship. And I think there's a way that we can utilize cameras on Broadway to make real quick connections with people. Some that have turned into, I think, long-lasting friendships, but you just never know where people are. Some people, it looks like they're having a great time and they're not. Some people look like they don't have much to offer, but they're like really deep individuals. And so, yeah, Broadway's a place where you can't judge people, you know? It's a lot of surprises. So Layla's Honky Tonk is one of the most beautiful buildings on the outside, also beautiful on the inside, super historic. I mean, you know, anybody who's anybody in Nashville that has kind of risen to public platforms, they've played at Layla's. And right next door is Robert's, which is really like a Nashville local like spot. I shoot black and white mainly because I like to focus on the composition and the story. There are times that I'll switch it to color if I feel that's kind of what's more inspiring me. Usually when there's something more interesting, like a weather phenomenon, like snow, rain, something like that. But yeah, light and shadow, contrast, texture, and story. That's how I see the world. I'm seeing this whole thing in monochrome. I had somebody once say that when they were looking at my photos of Broadway, that it's like the quieter version, being able to walk down Broadway without having your eardrums blasted. But a lot of times I'm doing detail photos because those details that are sitting all around us are actually the things that we tend to overlook. Part of at least my storytelling is to tell the story that there is so much more than what will meet the eye when you look at it on first glance. Sometimes you know what you look like when you look in a mirror. So when I'm cherry picking the obvious things, in some ways, that's helping the city to see what the city might not see of itself. In some sense, I'm helping to build the culture and establish our kind of identity as a city. Some find what they're looking for. Others are still seeking. And what is seeking but evidence of beauty worth finding? And so, with camera in hand, I seek the beauty hiding in plain sight, from the solitude of a park bench to the character of a lock on a fence, from light beams that highlights to shadows that conceal, from the energetic rush of 10,000 strangers on Broadway to the sacred intimacy of friendship. My lens bears witness to the beauty of what is and to the wonder of what could be. There's something about this city, a generosity, a restlessness, a beauty that refuses to be tamed. And maybe, if we slow down and see, we'll find that all this light, all this shadow, all this contrast and texture is tracing the shape of something beyond the frame. My name is Tony Shepard, also known as Pixbyshep. Welcome to Nashville. Take a look through my lens.